In Pit Lane, brought to you by Online Invent, websites, digital marketing and custom software. And with thanks to these great community supporters. Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of In Pit Lane, coming to you from the studios of RMIT here in the heart of Grand Prix City, Melbourne. Well, coming up a little bit later on in the program, sports sedans are a really popular category. We've had lots of sports sedan drivers over the years. Of course, when you think of sports sedans, you mostly think of, well, things like that thing that was behind me for a second there, Brian Thompson's Volkswagen powered by a Chev engine. But there's also under 2 litre sports sedans. They're going to be in action out at Calder Park in a couple of weekends' time. And joining us tonight, Lauren Talbot and Linda Devlin from the Under 2 Litre Sports Sedan Association. You probably caught a glimpse of them in just a moment. But also alongside me, you probably caught a glimpse of my co-host. His name is Craig Doc Latigo. Doc, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Brett. Welcome yourself. And what a great start to the program. They're having some more well-dressed people than what we usually are. So
I know, they put us to shame, haven't they?
Yeah, the wardrobes got outdone themselves tonight. But speaking of outdone themselves, how about the incredible racing that was on the weekend? There was the guys at the front were just smashing it, and there was carnage behind everywhere, no matter where you looked at whatever track.
Yeah, and also coming up on the program as well, of course, music is a big part of the program as well. Coming up a little bit later on, we're going to hear from Miguel Alverez. He's going to join us a little bit later on in the program as well. But right now, let's catch up with what has been a big weekend of motorsport. This is the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. Well, worrying signs for Ford teams ahead of next month's Bathrust 1000 after several major engine failures at both the Sandown 500 and at a sponsors ride day on Monday. Richie Stanaway saw his race end early while in a strong position when his car expired on the back straight after what was later deemed to be a crankshaft failure. More worrying was that then on Monday a further 3 Mustangs suffered similar problems during a sponsors ride day. A Ford spokesperson have confirmed an investigation is taking place in the hope that the problem can be fixed before the cars hit the track at Bathurst in 3 weeks' time.
Team orders? What team orders? Oscar Piastri took any talk of team orders out of the equation with a masterful race on the streets of Baku to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. After starting second on the grid, Piastri made a brilliant move under brakes to grab the lead from Charles Leclerc before holding off the Ferrari and the Red Bull of Sergio Perez for the rest of the race. Piastri's McLaren teammate Lando Norris had a disastrous qualifying session, but recovered to finish 4th, 1 place ahead of championship leader Max Verstappen to keep his slim championship hopes alive as the teams head to Singapore this weekend.
Well, while it was a great weekend for Oscar, in the USA, things didn't go quite as well for the Antipodean drivers. Will Power was very much in contention for another IndyCar championship, and Shane Van Gisbergen started red-hot favourite for the NASCAR road race at Watkins Glen. Sadly, for both drivers, things didn't go entirely according to plan. Shane Van Gisbergen played the waiting game at Watkins Glen last weekend, and it almost paid off. After spending most of the race in the top 3, SVG surged into the lead in overtime, seemingly pulling off yet another perfectly timed race win. But a small mistake on the final lap saw Chris Boucher slip past Van Gisbergen's Camaro in the S's to take a narrow win over the Kiwi superstar by less than a second. The win was the first to Butcher on a road course. Van Gisbergen said he was gutted after the race, having worked so hard to time everything perfectly, only to make a mistake with only a few corners remaining. It was a fitting end to a dramatic race, as some of NASCAR's best drivers showed that some of them still haven't completely mastered this whole turning left and right business. Kyle Kirkwood and Joseph Newgarden started from the front row, but all the interest in Sunday's IndyCar Championship finale at Nashville was the championship fight between Alex Palou and Australia's Will Power. Power looked set for a come-from-behind finish, but his chances disappeared early in the race when he was forced into the pit lane with problems with his safety harness. The unlikely problem taking a whole 5 laps to fix, ending his chances. This left Palou with the task of simply finishing anywhere ahead of Power to win the title, and an 11th place finish was more than enough to give him his 3rd IndyCar title. And in drag racing, Antron Brown returned to the winners list with a win over Sean Langdon in the Top Fuel finals at Reading. Austin Prosk had a great weekend in funny cars, taking the final over teammate Jack Beckman in an emotional all-John Force Racing final. In Pro Stock, Aaron Stanfield won for the 5th time this season, going 6.56 with a 9 to defeat Elite Motorsports teammate and defending world champion Eric Arendez on a hole shot in the final round. And in Pro Stock Bike, Hector Arana Jr. broke through for his first win of the season over Richard Gadsden. And at the Fuji circuit in Japan, the Penske Porsche team of Andre Lotterer, Kevin Estra and Lawrence Vanthoor came from 5th on the grid to win the Fuji 6 Hours, the penultimate round of the FIA World Endurance Championship. The team now moves into a strong position to take both the drivers and team titles at the final round in Bahrain. It was a great weekend for Porsche as the Mansai Pure Racing team of Joel Sturm, Alex Malikin and Klaus Buckler wrapped up both the drivers and teams titles in GT3LM with 1 round still remaining.
A class act by Italian team Pistard Racing, who have withdrawn from the final 2 rounds of the 2024 Italian National 1000 season to ensure the late Luca Salvadori is crowned champion. A popular racer and social media personality, Salvadori was killed following a crash in the Freiburg round of the International Road Racing Championship in Germany. The Bastard team rider Felipe Rivoli was in contention to take the title. However, the team has made a decision to withdraw from the final 2 rounds, which will ensure a posthumous championship to win to Salvadori. The death of the 32-year-old Italian rider has prompted an outpouring of tributes on social media, with many top MotoGP riders and new Mercedes F1 driver Kimi Antonelli all posting heartfelt tributes. Our thoughts and condolences are with the family and friends of Luca Salvadori.
Yes, that was a very fine gesture there by the team, and our condolences do go out to the family. A sad fact of life sometimes in motorsport that there are accidents happen and people unfortunately sometimes don't survive. Yep. We're going to take a break now here on In Pit Lane, but when we come back we're going to be joined by our special guests, Lauren Talbot and Linda Devlin, to talk under 2 litre sports sedans, and we're going to have some live music from Miguel Alverez. You're watching In Pit Lane, don't go away, we'll be right back.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Yes, now if you need to boost your business's online presence, well, I can introduce you to our friends at Online Invent. They're a Melbourne-based digital marketing agency that specialises in web design, in SEO, which, as we found out, is apparently search engine optimisation.
Really?
Yeah, they also do graphic design and a whole bunch of other sort of, technical online sort of stuff.
Yes, they do.
Roy and his team have been fabulous supporters of the program, and they're fabulous, motorsport supporters. Roy is a motorsport tragic, and he's out at most race meetings as well. So you're talking to a person that you know is going to speak your language as well. They really take the time to understand your goals and create digital strategies that deliver real result. Roy's just great at what he does, and of course, if you need to talk to them at length and understand this whole thing, he's the person to talk to. So remember, contact Online Invent at onlineinvent.com.au, and once again, we thank Online Invent and Roy for their support of In Pit Lane and community media. Well, coming up right now, I'll give you the full sort of introduction to Miguel a little bit later on when we do the Channel 31 thing. But, he's part of the long tradition that we have on the program of finding a really talented buskers in Melbourne. There's so many, and I heard...
You discovered this one all on your own, I think. So you didn't need my help for this one whatsoever. Usually we do it in tandem and have a bit of fun, but...
we find buskers as well. We cruise around finding buskers. I mean, we're going to get in trouble for it one day, but, anyway. As long as they don't find the bodies, we'll be right.
They come out washed and dried and ironed and no creases when they leave us.
No, that's it.
They're in excellent condition when they leave us.
Anyway, Miguel is going to join us tonight. He's got a new song coming out called Upside Down, which he's going to play for us a little bit later on in the program. That'll be released on Spotify, Apple Music, and all the major streaming platforms. But right now, he's going to give us a bonus track here on In Pit Lane. For all of you watching live on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel, this is Miguel and Without You. Miguel.
About you, it felt so good with you, but I think I'm better without you. No one could change us, not even time could make us. These wounds haven't healed yet, and you're by your side. Now there's no pressure, but my love had no measure. I love doing life with you, but I think it's better without you. It's not the right time, we're going to different ways. Prefiero perderte que perderme otra vez. It's not easy to live by myself if you're not there, my baby. It's not easy to live by myself if you're not there, my baby. Ooh, I can't live without you. No fue fácil entenderte, no sabía que eras tan fuerte. El orgullo nos está alejando y ahora somos dos extraños. No quiero dejar de soñarte, se me hace difícil hablarte. My language is Spanglish, so you understand. It's not easy to live by myself if you're not there, my baby. It's not easy to live by myself if you're not there, my baby. No es tan fácil vivir sin ti si tú no estás, my baby. No es tan fácil vivir sin ti si tú no estás, my baby. Yeah. Ooh, I can't live without you.
Yes, that was Miguel, and he'll be joining us a little bit later on. Thank you for that.
Dulcet tones.
Yeah, I know. I told you, didn't I?
I think we've got a new fan group in the camera crew over here. We've got the mobile phone out and they're doing a little bit of talent scouting.
That is fantastic. And Miguel will join us a little bit later on to play his new single, which is coming up to take us out. So thank you for that. And you can see Miguel, as I said, found him like literally sort of busking in the street down at what was the corner of Burke Street and
It was in Burke Street and Swanson.
Swanson Street. Yeah, it's walking along.
We find some of our best, don't we, when we're down walking back from our pre-production meetings.
We'll tell people the story a little bit later on in the program as well, but sort of the proud history of buskers and in pit lane. But
absolutely, we've got a few to tell now.
We really have. I mean, if you walk around, we really do have some amazing sort of talent that is just out there, performing in the streets and just doing an amazing job.
It's just the music and the culture is alive in Melbourne. We just need to nurture it, cherish it, and obviously, let it grow again. It's just we're going through some tough times at the moment, but
have someone pay for it. Having someone pay for it would be nice.
That's exactly.
And that includes this program.
I did see a Australian broadcasting statistic the other day that there used to be about 5,900 and something venues across Australia. We're down to well under 4,000. I think it's about 3,800 now. So we've almost
most
lost.
of them are in Northcote.
We've lost about a third of our live venues for talent for live music, unfortunately. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't drop any further than that.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit like racetracks, isn't it? I mean, they're closing them left, right and centre, and they're not building new ones, which is not a good thing. No. Okay, Miguel will join us a little bit later on in the program. Thank you for that. Now, we're going to take a very, very quick break here on In Pit Lane, but when we come back, we're going to be joined by our special guests, Linda Devlin and Lauren Talbot. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Yes, sip, hooray! Yes, we're celebrating here on In Pit Lane. Our director Vanessa had her 21st birthday, and she got a cup. Unfortunately, it's full of nothing but Kit Kats.
What was full of something else, but it's gone now.
well, then Vanessa's drunk it. It certainly wasn't me, unfortunately. Now, coming up at Calder Park in a couple of weeks' time, the Victorian Motor Racing Championships, and part of the calendar there will be the under 2 litre sports sedans. Back in the day, I mean, the under 2 litre sports sedans used to race with the big category cars, and like in the right conditions, you'd have sort of amazing battles. People like Gary Rogers, Phil Ward, Mick Montoroso, Ken Hastings in the Volkswagen, the Ford-powered Volkswagen, all sorts of people.
Crazies everywhere.
Yeah, it was insane. But as things have moved around, and some of those bigger cars have got even bigger and even faster, they've now sort of moved off and broken off into their own category, and that's what you'll see in a couple of weeks at Calder Park. To find out what's been happening in the world of under 2 litre sports sedans, please welcome to the program Lauren Talbot and Linda Devlin. Welcome to In Pit Lane.
Thank you for having us.
Now, first of all, let's start with you with your. You've got a couple of very cool cars. Yours really looks like a sports sedan. Tell us about the Honda.
My husband built this car from the ground up. We bought it at road registered a couple of years back. It's an EK Civic, 97, I believe, and we've popped the K20 engine into it, and pretty much stock at the moment, other than the suspension bits that he's popped into it. And this is the first season that I've raced it, so it's been a lot of learning, both with the car and myself as a driver. Now,
on that, Brett just mentioned a few seconds ago that you're both racing at Calder coming up in a couple of weeks' time. However, I look back throughout the year, I think you've both raced at Calder already too, and so forth. And did someone have a suspension failure on the Friday as well too, before the start of the weekend? But unfortunately, you didn't make it for the rest of the weekend. No. Would that be due to Calder's surface at the moment? What are you blaming here?
Bit of both, I think. That was the first time that car had been on the track.
Oh, okay.
So it was still sort of doing a bit of a shakedown, and
installation laps.
Yeah,
and we had a shakedown. Calder's a place to shake it down.
It was definitely shook down by the end of it.
How's all your fillings here? That's right. Just checking you got all your teeth.
Yeah, but they had a bit of a bearing failure, and lost a wheel on the Friday, and we tried really hard. We were up to midnight that night trying to get it back on the track for the Saturday, but it was just not going to get there and not safe to race.
How reliable has it been since?
It is over-engineered now. We will never ever lose a wheel ever again.
Oh, don't say that.
Touch wood.
What car number are you at Calder in a couple of years?
You're looking for it?
We'll be barracking for you. No, we want you to keep it all straight and narrow and on the black stuff. And so it's been super reliable since?
It has. It hasn't really missed a beat regarding suspension. We've had a couple of engine things, but other than that, it's been running really smoothly, which is really good for pretty much a brand new car this year.
That's awesome.
Linda, you're running the Mini now. The interesting thing about the Mini is that it's a supercharged car, and yet normally the equivalency factor would push it over 2 litres. But tell us how you can fit into the under 2 litre category.
So it's actually turbocharged, so it's a 1.6 litre turbo. So what the category have done is they invited us a couple of years back in to run, and so now we are running a 36 restrictor. So so it just makes it that we're a little bit more competitive, but also it just means that we are now under 2 litres, and obviously it's a 1.6 turbo.
So your car looks a lot more stock than say than Lauren's does, but I mean, how stock is it? I mean, looks it deceiving?
Oh well, my dad and myself, we haven't really changed much from it. It was an mini challenge car, so it was actually built as a race car, so they all built them as a category, and then they ended up having obviously the series, and then it just sort of they sold them all off, and so we fell into buying one. Henry Draper actually bought the first red mini challenge car.
There's a famous name in mini racing.
Yes, so he's my dad's best mate. They used to run minis together and race and build them together. So so he bought that one for us to do enduros with, and then we've moved on to getting the blue one as well. So.
61, 63, whatever mini it was back, I think Henry let you race back.
Yeah.
And that was an original Targa Tasmania car
it
as well.
It was a 1964 Targa Tassie car.
Yeah, and you converted it to track racing as well now too, And you and your brother used to race together, and at about the same time, Dad bought you 2 karts about at the same time. It's been since you were 8 or around about that age?
I started racing when I was 8 in go-karting. Yes,
and how long did you race that for?
We did that 9 years competitively at Puckapunyal with Eastern Lions go-kart track. And,
very popular up there.
Yeah, it was a great track. So we did that 9 years competitively. I did junior national light and heavy as well 1 year. And then we came to the end of year, I was finishing year 11, and then Dad and Mum said, so you need to save some money.
Have you outlasted your brother in racing, or is he still going?
No, I did. He is now cycling. So he's gone foot, and I've stayed with the horsepower.
And a very sensible move.
Absolutely.
I would say, I mean, so many champion drivers and motorcycle racers have been badly injured on cycles. The cycles are dangerous. Don't touch them. Let's leave it at that.
They don't have motors.
So let's talk about what's coming up at Calder Park. I mean, we made a bit of a joke about how sort of rough it is out there, but I mean, it's certainly not that bad. Well, the feedback from you guys, I mean, what's it like to drive out there?
It's a good track. It's nice and close to home, which is always a bonus. Obviously, it's not as smooth as sort of the newer tracks that we've raced on, but it's great just to have a different track to race at and be able to compete at. And SSA do a brilliant job at running the events. We've done this is our 3rd event with them. We started off the first one they ran last year and mid-year, and then earlier one this year, and then this one. So it's really good just to be able to have some grid time.
You're known for your shopping lists as well too, Lauren.
List?
So I saw the shopping list on the fridge with the car a little while ago, way back. How big's the shopping list for the car at the moment for Calder coming up in a couple of weeks?
Oh, yeah. It's being whittled down. There's not a lot to do, and we're nearly there. We're nearly ready. There's a couple of bits.
So what sort of preparation do you, like if I could ask you both, what sort of preparation do you have to do for a meeting coming up, say in a few weeks' time? Just the basics to be able to get you over there.
So my dad does a lot of my prep for me. So obviously we don't live close by each other anymore. So I do get up there and help him as much as I can. So we pretty much do a spanner check, pop it on the hoist and just go over everything, pack all our spares, make sure that's all, all ready to go, and just pretty much load and lock and go.
And listen, thanks for joining us. Well, you'll be in action, as I said, Calder Park, under 2 litre sports sedans and a whole bunch of other categories. Stay with us for the moment, but for now, Lauren and Linda, thanks for joining us in Pit Lane.
Thank you.
And we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to have some. We're going to catch up with the IRC GT, and we're also going to have some music from our special guest. He is Miguel Alverez. Don't go away. You're watching In Pit Lane, and we'll be right back.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Yes, now we would like to say once again thank you to Online Invent, but also we'd like to take a moment to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters who are helping keep In Pit Lane on the air. Your contributions make it possible for us to continue bringing you this great motorsport coverage and live local music week after week here on both the YouTube channel and, of course, over on Channel 31. Now, look, if you haven't joined yet, even $1 a week can make a real difference. I mean, there's strength in numbers. You know, if just 10% of our over 3,000 plus YouTube subscribers came on board, well, it would have a huge effect on what we can achieve here on In Pit Lane. You know, it's very expensive going out and filming and all the rest of it. And also, if you're a business or a car club, $25 a month gets your name on our opening billboard every week, both online and on Channel 31, which is seen right across Melbourne and Geelong. It also shows your support for Australia's only grassroots independent motorsport show. So if you would like to help us out, we really would ask you to head on over to our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/The Pit Crew and help keep the show running strong. Thanks again for your support. Yes, Doc, I'm getting some messages from Doc. Oh, he said it was on site.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. I'm only just there. Imagine if everyone from that 90,000 YouTube video we did at Bathurst there last year gave 10 cents each. Remember that one that went viral?
Imagine if they gave us like $10 each.
Yeah,
you wouldn't see me for dust. It'd be hello, welcome to Paris.
That mug would still be rattling for years.
It'd be rattling, yes.
We had there was a particular video we went viral there at Bathurst 12 Hour there last year, not this year, last year, and because of the footage you and I chased up, we got 90,000 views for that. So we are appreciated.
Yeah, we got to there. Unfortunately, like our interview with Peter, well over 90,000 views as well. We got a lot of views, but unfortunately, views don't necessarily translate into money. But that's one of the problems. But anyway, if you can support, we really would appreciate it. We have so many people who come up every week and say, "Oh, yeah, great that the show's back. We really love it. Yeah, thanks for helping out the sport and all the rest of it." And
even when I'm at work, they did it this week to me. Yeah, they called me out.
Welcome to my world. So yeah, so anyway, we really would appreciate it if you could get online and support us, because as I've said before, people go, oh, you get all this government money. We do not get 1 cent of government money. We do not get money from RMIT or RMITV. We get this lovely studio that we have access to, but we don't get money. And quite frankly, we would like money, because money is handy. And money buys things. It buys stuff to put in that mug over there. It buys me a new shoulder so I can actually point and reach that mug over there.
Yeah, and it feeds and waters our crew as well.
Feeds and waters our crew. Yeah. Okay, we're just about ready, I think, to come back, are we?
How long we got, Josh? Yeah.
Okay, we're going to come back in just a moment. We're going to take a very quick break here on In Pit Lane. When we come back, we're going to catch up with more with Miguel, and also the IRC GT new car, the Camaro package. That's coming up in just a moment.
Mustang.
Don't go away. No, Camaro.
Mustang.
Well, yeah. we'll argue about that later. Don't go away, we'll be right back. You'll see what we mean in just a moment. Welcome back. You're watching In Pit Lane here on Channel 31 and, of course, on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel, if in fact that is indeed where you watch. If you're watching us somewhere else, please let us know about it. We pop up in all sorts of places that I know nothing about. Trust me on this one. That's for sure. Now, just recently, Doc and I went down to Phillip Island for the August Access meeting, and while we were there, the production sports cars were there. Sports car racing, of course, is very, very expensive. You don't need me to tell you that. However, there is a plan for a style of sports car racing and GT racing that will not cost quite as much. Just one look tells you the story. Those lights, that grille, the tail lights. It's a Camaro, but not quite. The IRC GT car is more than just a touch of the platypus design about it, neither fish nor fowl. So, what is it?
Well, it's Camaro inspired with the lights and the tail lights and the general body shape, but obviously it's not exact a Camaro, but it's the new generation of the IRC cars. So the IRC car is the new basically brand of the old Mark cars. So we had the Mark 1s years ago, probably 10 years ago, and the Mark 2s, which were the Mustangs, and this is a new generation called IRC. So we've rebranded it. We're in production of car number 13 of the IRC GT. There's a number of body shapes, all inspired by some manufacturers like Mercedes. We're on the drawing board with an Aston Martin at the moment. We've got the Camaro and we've got the Mercedes and Mustang. And the brand's going well. We're sort of launching it, obviously pretty hard at the moment. We're off to America to launch it at SEMA. The Camaro number 9's on its way. So that's basically the new generation of, as we said, evolution of the Mark car series or brand.
With so many classes in Australia and this car not really fitting in comfortably to just about any of them, where on earth are these cars supposed to race?
We think we need to form our own series, which we've actually done, and it'll be launched in the next couple of weeks. It'll be a 6-round series in Australia with running through AASA. Basically, we'll be launching our own series, but what will be relevant is it'll be the IRC GT as the class, and then there'll be a Mark II class and a Mark I class. Because you're right, they've struggled to find places to run. The Mark car series was running for some years, but guys were sort of off doing other things at Sports Sedans. So we're actually working really hard to get everyone back. We look like we've got 15 or 16 competitors already lined up, but there'll be different, as I said, categories, Mark 1, Mark 2 and the IRC GT. So we think that there's room for it.
Powered by the popular and affordable LS3 Chev engine, the car pumps out a reliable 560 horsepower, driving through the locally sourced Hollinger gearbox. For the One Make series, the engines will be sealed to try and keep costs under control and to provide better racing. Outside of Australia, the previous Mark cars found plenty of interest in series like the Hankook 24-hour series by Creventic, and that continues with this new car.
Just actually sold car 12 to do Creventic, so that car has been finished. It did a shakedown last week in the Mark car series. They just did the Friday because the driver got a bit crook on the Saturday, Sunday, but that car is off to Creventic to do the 24-hour series. Obviously, they're an endurance car as well. We had 3 IRC cars at the Bathrust 12-hour in the Invitational, and it was the first time out, and they actually took all the positions, so first, second and third. So they're a good endurance car, good all-round car, to be honest.
Yeah, and judging by the performance out at Phillip Island, despite the specs of the engine, it is a very, very quick car as well. Now, that's all the time we've got for you this week on In Pit Lane. Once again, thanks to our guests Linda and Lauren for coming in. Thank you to you once again, Doc.
Thank you very much,
We'll
Brett.
see
Thank
you
the
all
girls.
again next week on the program when we've got a big band coming in next week. And stay tuned to our social media for details of our guests as well. But right now, speaking of music, if you know anything about the history of music on In Pit Lane, you'll know that it all started with a busker that I saw while I was walking to the studio. Well, our guest tonight continues that tradition. I was out just recently. I heard him singing in Melbourne on the street. I went, we've got to have him on In Pit Lane. He's got a new single coming out in the next couple of days on Spotify, Apple Music and all the major streaming platforms. It's called, the song is called Upside Down. You can catch up. There's all his social media outlets up there. And as I said, coming up soon, his song Upside Down, and that's what he's going to play us out with tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, to play us out tonight with Upside Down, this is Miguel Alverez. And until we see you next week, good night, everybody.
I was looking a reason to glow up, but life is going so fast I can't handle it. No matter how hard it was to forget you, 'cause all the pain is away and I could heal myself. I don't care 'cause I know what I want. I want to grow up and figure it out to make my way right upside down. I know I'm making the change. I know I'm making the change. Ups and down. I know life is changing again, and now I'm making the change. Recuerdo que te vi, no sabía lo que pensabas, pero me motivabas con tu linda mirada. No paraba de mirarte y esos ojos tan distantes. Sé que me quiero acercar para bailar contigo. Tu cuerpo quiere orbitar alrededor del mío. I just wanna make your booty shake and groovy to the funky, and we'll forget the whole past down the dance floor. Upside down. I know I'm making the change. I know I'm making the change. Ups and down. I know life Life is changing again, and now I'm making the change. Sometimes it's better to say I'm sorry than to forgive or forget to make things right. I know I'm better this way, and I want it. I like this version of me, I can't hide it. Upside down, I know I'm making the change. I know I'm making the change. Ups and down, I know life is changing again, and now I'm making the change. Upside down, I know I'm making the change. I know I'm making the change. Ups and down, I know life is changing again, and now I'm making the change. Miguel.